Hi, my name is Ferdy Turasenga. I am an under 40 CEO.
The African Renaissance. The concept that the African people and nation shall overcome the current challenges confronting the continent and achieve cultural, scientific, and economic renewal is here, with young men and women taking the lead. Some call them the new school heroes. We call them under 40 CEOs.
Ferdy Turasenga started his education in Burundi, and upon returning to Rwanda in the year 2000, he attended high school at Lycee de Kigali with a focus on maths and physics. He would later attend the Tshwane University of Technology in South Africa, where he studied electrical engineering, focusing on power systems, heavy current, at their Pretoria Campus. His firm, EPC Africa, is focused on engineering, renewable energy, procurement, construction, and consultancy. He describes the company as a young family of 3 companies: AFRILOTT, CEC, and ENERGICOTEL, and these have been growing steadily since 2010. He is a pioneer in his space in Rwanda and operates as an independent power producer with 3.32 megawatts connected to the Rwanda National Grid. Ferdy Turasenga is the CEO of EPC Africa.
All right, welcome to Under 40 CEOs, Ferdy.
Yes, good morning, Famp. Welcome to EPC Africa.
Thank you very much for having us. Now, Ferdy, you were born in Burundi in 1984.
Yes,
and
6 August, yes.
Yes, and you would subsequently move to back to Rwanda for your from primary 4. Please share about, growing up in Burundi and Rwanda.
Yeah, look, that's a story I share with so many Rwandans. I was born in Burundi. At some stage, actually, I thought I was a Burundian until I realized that some big brothers and big sisters were trying to take us back home. So being born in Burundi, we didn't go to vacation. It was all the expatriates. It was just because of the sad story of Rwanda. Mm. So I was born there, and then we came back after Rwanda was liberated in 1994. That's the context of me being born in Burundi.
In Burundi in the first place.
Yes.
All right, so you attended the Lycee de Kigali for secondary school, but at what point did you realize that sciences was it for you?
Yeah, really, when Rwanda was being born again, let me say born again, because the country was completely crushed. So Lycée de Kigali was one of the schools that was owned by government, and which was promoting science. And as you know, when the country is crushed, so we all need science. To rebuild the country. So the leadership in the country was promoting and encouraging every young person to pursue. So I happened to be good in math and physics, and then that's why I pursued my studies in math, what at the time we called math physics option, mathematics and physics as a focus.
All right then. So share with me about your time in university in South Africa.
I went to South Africa for the reason of learning English, actually, because back in 2000, our country has changed its strategy. We are a member of Francophonie, the French-speaking community, and the country was also looking at where we are situated in the country, in the region. They say, why not also shifting to being an English-speaking country? So my sponsors at the time, they took that advantage and say, we send you to South Africa, do the studies there. So I attended Tshwane University of Technology, TUT, and I did power system engineering in the option of electrical engineering. So I landed in South Africa February 2004, and I left there in November 2007. And since 2008 February, I'm full-time in Rwanda, helping and working with countrymen to build the Rwanda.
All right, that's amazing. So you were there for just about 3 years, but even in that period, your entrepreneurial juices were already flowing, and you had started a few ventures of your own in South Africa. Please do tell me about some of these ventures.
Yes, true. I really discovered my entrepreneurship talents when I was still young. So while I was in South Africa, I managed to convince my sponsor at the time. I say, look, South Africa, living cost was something between $500 and $800 a month. So I told them, instead of sending me $800 every month, give me $4,000. I'll buy a car, and I'll use this car to do. That time there was no Uber, but I was doing what we can call today Uber. Just taking my students around, taking them to airports, taking visitors in the weekends, whenever I was off. And I could, by the way, send ice cream to Rwanda on the weekends on the Rwanda Air. So I remember doing those kind of business, trying to earn cash. And at the same time, I was also exercising my entrepreneurship skills, which came to mature, and the born EPC Africa.
Ferdy may have developed his entrepreneurship talent whilst in South Africa, but he started running a business from age 24 in Kigali.
At age 24, you were already running your own hotel,
Yeah.
Royal Villa in Kigali. So please do tell me about this venture.
Actually, Royal Villa was a brand I created myself. Looking at the time, back in 2008 in Rwanda, there was really a crisis. There was no accommodation really in the country. So I approached one of family members who owned a big house. One day at a dinner, I say, we don't need to live in an 8-room house. I mean, and they say, okay, how about turning it into a cash generating companies? Like, can you do it? And then they were even joking around the table, say, can an engineer really run a hotel? I say, let me try. And then they nicknamed me Ingénieur Cuisinier in French. So it's like a combination of a cook and engineer at the same time. So what I did, Royal Villa was a brand I created, and I was looking to take it to a next level where I could rent, because I didn't have money to build my own hotel. But I said I could just make like a management kind of company and rent several buildings and then put there my brand. Back in 2004, yes, I was doing it, and I did well until 2010, and until now I say let me now shift to my career really, which is engineering. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So let's come back to EPC Africa.
Yes.
Entrepreneurs, they say, are problem solvers. What problems was EPC Africa created to solve, and how scalable are these solutions?
EPC Africa itself, it's got four keywords, which is energy, which sometimes can be also be engineering, but energy, but procurement, construction, and Africa. So it means there's a lot of African corners that are dark. So I remember where I was born in Burundi. I think until now I don't know if there's electricity yet in that village. And I found it as an opportunity because I know light actually, and I'm avoiding to say power. Light is very addictive. Once you have it, you don't want to lose it again. So I saw that business very good, sustainable business, as well as changing the community. So I don't know if I'm solving a problem, but I mostly saw the opportunity, and I say, why not?
All right. So EPC Africa is a group of companies.
Yes.
Could you please tell me about each entity within the group?
Yes, really. EPC Africa works as a management holding company. Under it, we have ENERGICOTEL, or ECTL, and which stands for Energy, Communication, and Telecommunication. ENERGICOTEL is looking at anything of long-term investment in power production or power generation. So we've been focusing on renewable energy, and the medium generation energy. And then you have another engineering consultancy company which is called AFRILOTT, and AFRILOTT is focusing on consultancy, supervision, and design supervision, and it's got the ICT solution provider providing department as well.
I found something very interesting on the internet where at some point in an interview many years ago, you said that Donald Trump was your hero. Now, in the light of current events, is that still the case?
Look, that's everybody has his own opinion on Donald Trump, but beside so many problems sometimes he created for himself as well, but he's got some qualities. So I'm a kind of person who doesn't only focus on the weaknesses. I always look at, even my grandmother told me one day that even a mad person can teach you a lesson. I'm not saying Donald Trump is mad. He's far from being a mad. He's running he's running America, and I look at Donald Trump's values when it comes to entrepreneurship, the way he's doing his tactics when it comes to deal with business cases. And today, you will not even ignore that he took on Hillary Clinton, and now he's the president.
What are those major hurdles and challenges that you've had to overcome in business to make the strides you've made so far?
I'm a self-made CEO, so so that means for me to get where I am today, it has been really hard because people don't want to give you a chance. Show me what you have done the last 10 years. I mean, I was still a young boy. I mean, why do you ask me for something I have not got a chance to try? So the hurdle is like people judge you by your age, by your look, by where you come from. This is the other boy we know. I mean, we know his mother. His mother used to sell some chicken somewhere. I mean, people will stereotype you. I don't know if that word.
Yes.
So people put some stereotypes on you, but they forget that when we created, God gives us potential. God puts a lot of potential. Nobody can tell who you're gonna be in next 10 years. People should be given a chance. I mean, so for me, it was some way, somehow, I've been denied some chances. I've been judged just because I don't have a background to prove or to impress. So I think that's the major challenge. The other challenge is common. I mean, on African continent, when you're this ambitious, when you want to do this, I mean, it's financial, like access to finance. It's an issue for young entrepreneurs and the African institutions. So sometimes we are obliged to give away our ideas to some so-called big companies, so that because for them they can easily get funding. So you sell your idea, you give to them. They come and subcontract you, or if you're lucky, they pay you a commission, just because you cannot get anybody to fund it. Yeah, I believe Africa is a continent of geniuses. I can prove that. If you have more time, I can prove you that.
All right. So tell me, what makes Rwanda, the Rwandan business landscape, unique?
If you don't limit it, you don't look at Rwanda as its size, at its people. Look at where it is located. Look, we are in the middle of East Africa, or from East to Central Africa, and we are bilingual. If you want to turn to French, you can go, no problem. That means we have the advantage of tapping into the French-speaking community of Africa, even English-speaking community of Africa, even beyond Africa.
All right, so tell me, Ferdy, what is the current business structure at EPC Africa?
Like I said, I'm the CEO of the group, but each company has its own managing director, its operation manager. There's only one thing which is centralized, it is financial. It's finance. To centralize, that means just the management and the overseeing it. But the other operations, everything every company is independent.
Okay, so tell me, what are the most critical lessons that you have learned and can share about running a business to profitability?
First, I'll find a goal to go to. And then I go for it. And then on the way, I'll try to look at how to minimize the cost, how to capitalize on this and that. And then the profit, of course, will be the results. But profit will have to come if you have the right team, if you have the right goal, if you have the right motivation, if you're in the right environment, of course.
Amazing. So how has travel and interacting with different cultures, added value to you and even the business?
You see, traveling will humble you. If you think you are doing well, then you visit Singapore, then you come back very humble. You say, okay, I need to change things. So traveling, my recent trip to Accra really challenged me. We thought East Africa is moving. We thought Kenya is, Rwanda, Kigali. I'm not saying we are not doing well, but go to Accra, see what guys are doing there. It will challenge you, but again, it will help you to measure yourself. Where am I doing something wrong, or am I in the right track? And then secondly, it will give you a network.
That's really good to hear. You've received quite a lot of recognition and nods and accolades for your work. People are talking about EPC Africa.
Oh my God.
So tell me, what do these nods and recognition, what do they truly mean to you?
Something that I know that if people praise EPC Africa about, I will not say it's a hypocrite, is that we are very dynamic. Maybe that's why they are saying that we are a great company, but we are really not where we are supposed to be. We're just babies crawling now, learning how to walk.
EPC Africa signed a PPA as independent developers to upgrade, finance, operate, and maintain O&M 5 micro hydropower plants under a 25-year concession contract. But without the right people in any establishment, businesses will indeed crumble, and we believe Ferdy shares our sentiments.
Still on the subject of human resource,
yes.
It's a critical element to consider when building any enterprise. So how do you typically hire?
I'm a very sentimental person. So what I do, if you come, first of all, I will give people a chance. I don't care what you put on a paper. If we encounter, I talk to you and I hear that you have something, I'll give you a chance. Then I'll look at your papers later. So my hiring is not really a good approach. But for me, it's working though.
A very unusual approach, but how unusual is your leadership style?
I'm honest with my feelings. So if I feel you didn't do well, I'll tell you. If I feel there's something you need to adjust, I'll tell you. And I'll always share my weaknesses. I say, you know what, I was like this. I'm also there. I'm struggling with this. So to give people a push, to say you can also improve. I don't know if this is a leadership style, but it is, for me, it is practical way of just being a human and just be a human. You are a boss, but at the end of the day, you are a human. And you have your weaknesses and your strength. So I make sure I communicate this. This doesn't encourage mediocrity. People should not quote me wrong. I'm very hard when it comes to mediocrity, especially when somebody is not working. But I always encourage people to improve. As long as you're on the way to improve, I always give you a chance.
Okay, so tell me, Ferdy, what are those key skill sets that a CEO needs to acquire in managing people?
So far, I know only one. Is the people skills. That's it. So develop yourself on how to understand people and how to communicate to people. And make sure that you know how to, and communication is two ways. You hear what other people, really hear for hearing. Because sometimes we listen and then we are not, we just make sure.
Or you hear and you don't listen.
You don't listen. So hear to listen And then also communicate. Make sure somebody understands your expectations and communicate. Tell people that this I can, this I can't. And be a human. That's why I say people skills. So okay. I don't see any other skill. The CEO. CEO is a person. CEO is a person. So just be a person. Just be a human being.
There's this debate about work-life balance. Is it achievable or is it a myth? What side are you on?
Yes, Fab. You see, everybody has got his own philosophy around balanced life. I say work, life, and we say life, there's the other things, social, family, etc. In between, I must have something in between. And what is this thing in between, which makes possible? Spiritual life. If you know spirituality, if you are dead spiritually, you can never be back. You can be that intellectual guy. You can be that hardworking guy. You can be that guy who loves his family so much. That guy who stays at home. That ideal husband, father. But you always be unbalanced. But with spiritual life, work, professional, and then spirituality in between, you're going to make it. You'll be a balanced. You have a balance. It's possible. It's not a myth.
All right. So what values would you say are important to you and EPC Africa?
Always stick to commitment. So deliver. Even if I give you some time, we overpromise. So if you overpromise, have the guts to go and say, sorry, or can't make it, but pay the price, which is humility. So those are values. I mean, deliver if you can. If you can't, also have the guts to say, I can't.
All right. So very quickly, Ferdy, tell me, what is the biggest letdown you've experienced in business so far?
To really say this big disappointment to me doesn't exist, because any problem I meet, I see an opportunity there. But we have a delay in one of our projects. We had a delay. We are supposed to deliver a project in March 2017, and it was delayed for almost 1 year because of many problems. I don't want to mention them here because they concern other institutions, but it was really because I had really all my goals, everything was set, and it has delayed, by the way, my 5 years. My 5 years planning. So that's the biggest disappointment. And of course, I lost staff. I don't know if you call it disappointment or a sadness. It was the worst that I ever had. I lost actually 2 staff in 1 week. One died on it was a Tuesday. Another one died a Friday, and they was working in the same company. Actually, one was the boss of the other, and all accident. One died of a motorbike, just hit something, hit a wall, and then he had internal bleeding. While the other one went to look him at the hospital. It was up country in one where we have our hydro plants, and the other one had just a heart attack, I think, something like that. They call it in French, I think, embolie pulmonaire. So it's a heart attack, actually. So that was really, for me, was the worst. It was the worst
All right.
scenario.
The sentimental leader with no big disappointments, Ferdy always sticks to commitment. But what does he commit his time away from work to? What are his lifestyle choices?
So let's move on from that very gloomy scenario to these few quick-fire questions I've got for you.
Okay.
What do you love to eat?
I like grilled chicken.
All right. Well, how would you describe your fashion style?
I like to be casual, smart.
So what are your favorite brands to wear?
Do I have really? I don't remember. If I like it, I take it.
Who are your favorite CEOs?
There is a gentleman called Ron Weiss. Ron Weiss is the CEO of the Rwanda Energy Group.
What's your favorite car to drive?
Recently, somebody gave me a ride in this big Land Cruiser. the recent, the 2017 is really beautiful. I mean, I was never really a fan of a Land Cruiser, but when I drove into it, wow, I was like, yes. When I grow up, I'll offer myself one.
All right. What's your favorite travel destination?
I can say two. It's Singapore and Accra.
All right. Your favorite book of all time?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
And what book are you reading right now?
Personal MBA.
All right. So lastly, I would like to know, Ferdy, what makes you happy?
I enjoy worship time in a church. That moment really makes me very happy. When you have that worship time, every congregation taken up by the worship team. That's the moment. The second one when I'm playing basketball with my friends. Those are the two moments. Oh, the third one is when I'm with my son, Liam, the 4 years old. Because, yeah, he takes me out of the daily stress and everything. Yeah, those are the three. So worship time in the church, playing basketball, and just playing with my 4 years old.
All right. So thank you for coming on Under 40 CEOs, Ferdy.
Thanks, Fab. Thanks a lot for your time. Yes. Hi, my name is Ferdy Turasenga. You too can be an Under 40 CEO.